Welcome to the Iconics Genesis 64 video guide. This video continues the discussion from part 1 and discusses the incorporation of simple shapes into a GraphWorks control. It will also explain how to prevent borders from growing, as well as creating semi-transparent areas.
In this video we will see how we can add some simple shapes to the map. So to do that we will select the ellipse object from the home ribbon bar and we will draw it on the map. As you will notice, when you will draw one of these objects, you will see that the border for this object look really big compared to what you may be used to see. This is because we are currently creating an object at a very high level of zoom, which you can verify in the bottom right corner. This is because by zooming the map we are also zooming the display. So right now we are working in a very zoomed version of our display. We can see it better if we zoom back to 100%. So as you can see, this is our wall display and this is the object which we have just drawn. So it is a very small object. If we make it bigger, then we will see that the border is exactly what we expect it to be at the 100% zoom level. But when we are working at the very zoomed in version of the display, this looks like a little bit too big. So to prevent this and to make sure that anytime you draw an object the border will be as if it was at 100% zoom level, you can go in the GraphWorks preferences here, click on General Settings and select the Compensate for Zoom on Insert. This property is expressly made to prevent this phenomenon to happen. So if I set this to true and then I try to draw another ellipse, then at this point you will see that the border of this object is what we want it to be. Just be aware that when you start to zoom out, the border for that object will become thinner and thinner, and at a certain time it will become almost invisible. So you have to decide how you want it to look like. So let me remove these objects now. What you can also do with GraphWorks and with EarthWorX specifically is, for example, to draw shapes of certain geographical areas. So let's say that I want to draw a shape of France. What you can do is to start drawing a polygon, let's say a raw version of the polygon, which we can then improve later on. So let me draw just a very approximate version of France here. And to make this look like the actual shape of France, what you can do is to double click on the polygon to show the path for it. If you click on between two points, you can add a new point and you can then tweak the shape to make it look like exactly the shape of France, for example. Now, to make it a little bit easier, I would suggest to make this object at least partially transparent. So for example you can make it, let's say, white and reduce the opacity, let's try with 80. So this seems a little bit better. So what you can do is again zoom in a little close just to make sure that you can see it a little bit better and start working on the shape. I'll go a little bit faster now and I will not make it perfectly fine, but just to give an idea. And after a while you will end up having a shape which is closer to the border than my current shape it is right now. So, okay, let's say that I'm satisfied with the result. Just a couple more. And here it is. Okay. So at this point, let's say that I have created my shape which represents France. What you can do with it is that, for example, you can associate a dynamic. Let's create a color dynamic. And you may want this to blink, for example, under some condition. Now I will put data source 1, you will probably put a real data source here. And you may make this, for example, blinking red when there is something wrong going on. For example, one of your assets in France is having some trouble, there is an alarm or something like that. So you can put flash rate 750 milliseconds. And if you go run time, you will have your map with a blinking object. You can also make it a little bit transparent if you want to be more similar to the actual color of the shape. And as you can see, if I move the map around, this shape is perfectly anchored to the point, to the fence border, which is what we actually want. If you want to have objects which are not resizing when you zoom in and out, because maybe they represent an image, an icon or something, then you will have to do something different, which we will show in the next video.